Hello. We just got the holiday update. So that's FSD 14.2.1.25. Kind of a long update. We're going to take it to the shoe store because I have an errand to run here. I need to go get a new pair of shoes. I just got it tonight. We'll go do the Wilmeth Loop tomorrow, but we're just going to run to the shoe store today. So. Okay, here we go. I literally just did this update. It just finished. This is the first drive. I did drive up here, but I drove manually. I didn't really mess around with the Grok navigation, so it'll take me a little bit to get used to that. So yeah, this is a new version. I'm basically just going to talk about differences that I see. And that's basically it. So there's lots of nuances. This will include the highway, a little bit of city roads to get to the highway and to get to the shoe store. So. And then also, I am in a different vehicle. I'm in the AI4 Model Y, Legacy Model Y. This car in our got the update. My Model 3 has not gotten the update just yet. Right. Turn there. It seemed pretty good. We are in hurry mode right now. Let's keep it in that for a while. See how that feels. That's probably been the most popular, or it's probably been. It seems like the most popular mode for most people that I see reporting on the 14.2 branch in general. It's definitely been one of my favorite, but it might be a little too fast for me because I've heard that they have sped it back up a little bit more similar to how the 14.1 builds felt. So we'll see. There's some little nuances that I already feel that are better just through here. Not understanding why the seatbelt sign's coming on for the passenger seat. It's empty. Maybe it's because my hand's over here. I have the camera coming up from my armrest, so when I have the camera in this car at least, put my hand in the seat, so maybe it thought that there was a passenger over there because my arm was over there. My Model 3, I built a contraption to hang the camera from the roof, from the little underneath the glass roof. But yeah, that just so far, there's already like an unnecessary lane change back there that it did not do that it had been doing with 14.2. Something that you might do if you were new to the area, but it didn't even do it like it had. So already I've seen a little bit of improvement. That braking right there seemed pretty improved too for a sudden red light. It seemed like it was a little smoother. But again, I'm just going to talk about these nuances. 14.2 was already such a good build, 14.2.1, that I don't think there's going to be massive differences. There's a hesitancy. getting over. So that's very familiar. I tried to get over and then it thought about it for a second, but there's nothing over there. And I did clean the outside cameras, just kind of wiped them right before this drive, just to make sure that there's no dirt on there, because we did have a little bit of weather a couple days ago, a little bit of rain. Nice lane change there. Seems like that, it seems like it's, well, there's a delay. There's the classic 14.2 hesitancy, so that is not fixed. Here to report that highway lane changing still is a regression from 13.2.9. You know, it seems like it actually executes it a little bit quicker. Like it turns the turn signal on, then immediately starts going, which is great. You know, before it would turn the turn signal on and it would just stay on. But 2 times it's gone to the left lane change and it's gone. And if there's a car back behind me, and they're back there, like they are, I mean, let's, so used to my other car. This car, I'm not sure how to turn the camera on, but they're back there really far, and it's just, and it kind of goes and then comes back, and then it kind of creeps over. It reminds me of when you turn your turn signal on and you look over to your blind spot. Sometimes you accidentally tug the wheel, and then when you look forward, you go back, and then, you know, it's maybe that's trained on human behavior. So turn signal being on for 5 seconds before it changes lanes, that's over. That is fixed. But I'm still seeing not as confident a lane changes as we used to get with 13 on the highway. But it is doing them. As soon as it turns a turn signal on, it's ready to go. So this will hopefully create a situation up here where it's going to want to do some stuff. Pretty vague there. What I meant by do some stuff is I thought that we were going to take the next exit, but I guess it decided to take this one because of routing with the traffic ahead. But it's so far it's taken the, it's turning fine. I thought it might do some weaving in and out up there, but it didn't. Can definitely tell a difference in this build. It's definitely a step in the right direction. So we're getting better. I love the fact that the turn signal, when it turns it on, there's a desire to make a lane change immediately. It's not turning it on as a kind of warning saying, hey, we think we want to make a lane change. Yeah, I should have checked this route. This route exited a couple exits earlier than I thought. That's okay. I've got a little bit of highway action. We'll get some on the way back. Yeah, I can only imagine how they. It's like they have a list of things, probably high priority and mid priority, but there's probably several little things in the model that they're able to mess with to make it smoother and better for each of these point releases. And overall, in saying that, I mean, I think that they have worked on some of the braking, like right here. Um, just every version since V12.3, which is the first one that I started with, has just gotten much smoother on the braking performance. And V14 was a huge improvement. V13 was huge. V14 was huge, and this little 0.25 update seems to have improved that even more, just slightly noticeable. I have about 1,000 miles on my Model 3 on 14.2. This car, there's like 500, 200 of them, which are me on 14.2. So I have a pretty good idea of what it feels like, and I think that they have really improved some of this well, maybe not acceleration, but definitely some of the braking smoothness. I think it can look and it can calculate exactly the distance it needs to stop in and just have it very linear throughout that distance and not just engage it all right away or engage it late in some cases, which V13 did that really bad on the highway. There's also a lot of holiday feature, options, and we talked about that on one of the other videos. But I know a lot of people have done videos on that, so I'll probably, I don't know if I'll cover those, but that it's nice being able to get Grok to help you map out your ride. That Walmart right there on the right is the Walmart we do on the Wilmouth Loop, which I did not intend to actually come down this road and see that, but like I said, we'll try to do that tomorrow. I just unfortunately do not have time this evening to do that. Yeah, it is. That is smooth. It did not slow down as much as I feel like it. I expected it to go around that car and to get into that turn lane. It just feels a little more confident. Maybe just tweaked it a little bit there. It's interesting, the adaptive headlights on this car versus the Model 3. They have a very different look to them. I almost feel like this one, the Legacy Model Y, has better and taller. Um, just feels like it's a much bigger light, bigger area. Here we are. Let's see how it does parking. Okay, front of the store. Come on, pulling forward. Excellent. I don't mind backing in, but when it's easy to pull in forward, I'd prefer the pulling forward. All right, here we are. All right, I'm going to go in and we'll be back with you here in a second. All right, we're going to head to the supercharger. Okay, unprotected left here. Oh, I thought it was going to go. It's going to hang out in the middle, it looks like. I haven't experienced it do this very often, which I like to see, just because sometimes it just will hang out there and just never go. Now we got a car coming up here on the left. But hopefully it'll go right now. Yes, good. I'm glad we're going back this way because the intersection here that intersects with the highway is a little odd. And there have been some times where it likes to turn left from the center lane instead of the left lane. And so I'm curious whether it's going to. I don't think I've seen that behavior on V14, but I don't come down this way that often. But I definitely saw it on 13. So it really should get in the left lane here, but it's not doing it. Yep, it's going to do it right now. It's too late to do it. I don't know why it decided at the last minute and then it decided not to. It could have actually pushed right there in front of that car, but it's just indecision, I guess. And I'm keeping this going because it's a little uncomfortable, in my opinion, to just be sitting here in an intersection with your turn signal on. Because generally, it's not going to want to actually change lanes until you get going. Most human behavior sitting here with a turn signal on means I need to get in that left lane to turn left. Will you let me through? And I really wish that FSD would just, at this point, let's just turn the turn signal off and let's try again once we get moving. So let's see what happens here. Steering wheel is going crazy there. It was turned real hard to the right. I think it sees an opening with this slow car here and it's going to speed up and get in the left lane. So this is not a turn lane. It needs to get over one more. This is a straight only lane. Took over. Tried to turn from a straight only lane did not get over to the left turn lane as it was supposed to. So there you go, folks. Intervention. I'm actually calling that. It's so hard to know that your definition of a critical intervention. I'm going to drive it here so that it goes to the highway instead of this other route that it wants to do. Well, I called it, didn't I? That's exactly what it tried to do before in V13, maybe V12. I forget when it was. And there you go. And I don't know if you heard, there was somebody honking at me, which I don't really 100% understand. But the reason you can't turn from that lane is at the same time, it allows people to turn the opposite direction from coming the opposite way. There was just nobody turning at that point into you. So you kind of have to stay. That's probably not right. I'm trying to picture it in my head. It's just, there's a reason to do it, and it's just paint on the road you have to follow. There's no lanes. It's just paint in the road. But there was just nowhere to go, I think is what it is on the left. Whenever you actually do make the turn, there's nowhere for the second turn person to go except cut off the other lane. So you're merging in the middle. So it's just no good. So back to if that was a critical intervention. You know, that was, the car was going to put itself into a much higher position to be in an accident, even if it was 10%. So do you call that a critical intervention? I guess so. That's without a doubt the closest thing to a critical intervention I've had on V14. I haven't had anything anywhere near that. And it's a little disappointing, honestly. Just as I sit here, just giving you my raw emotion, that shouldn't happen. You know, and I go back to what I said before, you know, unless I fast forwarded it. That is just a really messed up intersection that was designed very poorly. And humans mess it up all the time. But, you know, I was actually going to let it turn, but I heard that person honk. Because it looked clear, but I heard some person honk. It might have been coincidental that it was for somebody else, but when I heard that honk, I had to take over and go straight. Those are tough ones. There's these intersections. Like I was saying, when they first did that 10 years ago when I lived here, that intersection, redid it, there were wrecks all the time because it's very confusing. There's a delay in getting over. It just does that every time it gets to the left. It goes and then it comes back and then it gets over. I felt really good about this drive until that intervention. That kind of threw me. So I don't think it would have been an accident. I don't even think it's 10%. It's probably a 1% chance. But we take over on 1% chances because it's a supervised system. And that's what we're supposed to do. You know, if you get 100 of them, you're going to crash once. Behavior other than the shorter turn signals on, you know, it's the shorter. I feel like the turning's, it's hard to tell if it's improved. The lane changing, excuse me, it's hard to tell if the lane changing is improved or it's just not turning the turn signals on so far in advance. But it seems like it turns a turn signal on and it starts the lane change. It doesn't do it, you know, 5 seconds before like it was doing. So I'm really glad they changed that. The hesitancy is still there on the left lane change. Um, if I wouldn't have cleaned the cameras off, I would think, well, maybe there's some dirt on that outside camera, or maybe there's a film on it. It's hard to see from the cameras on the screen, but no, it's there, and it's doing it very consistently every time it tries to do a left lane change. And that was up earlier on more of a city street as well as a highway, so it's just not quite there. They're still working on refining that. And I would expect there's going to be 2 or 3 more point releases on this 14.2 branch before they get that perfect. 14.3, Elon came out and was talking about, there was somewhere he was talking about how there's going to be a 10x, the 10x larger model, order of magnitude larger model, I think is what he said. I feel like that's 14.3, and I think we're looking at January, February. They've been trying to do a bigger model size for FSD since this time last year when they introduced 13. Because in 13 it said to come 3x model size, and we never got that. And I feel like they're just struggling with these bigger model size. By struggling, I mean they just need more time. They're struggling to get it out as quickly as they want to. They will get it out and it will be very good, but it's just taking a while. Wow, got over here really nice and early for this exit. 1 mile to go and we're already in the lane, so that's great. This weekend when we were driving, I did see a lot of last minute. I mean, it seemed like every time we're taking an exit, we're crossing like the double white cross line, just barely making it. It's just, I'm glad to see that it's not doing that. That seemed to be a little bit of a regression from 14.1. Seemed to have something to do with the map data kind of issues we were seeing with 14.2. By those, I mean there's just some sort of reasoning layer or some sort of slight disconnection between the map data and what it's actually doing. So I'm going to go down to standard right now. The reason is I know the speed limit goes down to 30. At least the Tesla thinks it goes down to 30, and it'll go down to 30. And I want to see if it brakes really hard right here. Yep, now it's gone down to 30 miles an hour. Look at that, it's not braking. This is great. I'm glad they fixed that, because that right now, when no one around you, it would go down to 35 miles an hour from 60 very suddenly, and it was uncomfortable. With people around, it didn't seem to do it because it knew it was unsafe, and so it would break that 5 mile an hour overrule. But anyway, at that time it seemed like it did the right thing. So the next big test is, does it go to the right supercharger? There's a Mercedes charger that it has to pass to get to the row of Tesla superchargers. Now on the map, it has the Tesla superchargers and it has it going to the right place, but it's like it sees these Mercedes superchargers. I'm calling them, they're just Mercedes level 3 chargers, and yep, this is what it did last time. It wants to do a U-turn there, but it decides at the last minute, instead of doing the U-turn, we're just going to pull in. And then it comes down here. Here's the Mercedes chargers on the left. Nope, it's going to do it. It's going to pull into the Mercedes chargers. I'm not going to let it do it. I'm just going to come over here and park. I don't want to get in those people's way. It's very odd. Well, there it is. FSD 14.2.1.25. Overall, it seems like just about every part of the model is better. My opinion is this version, the issues we had with this version with that, dare I say, critical disengagement that we had, that's not unique to this 2.5 version. That is probably something that would have happened on the last version, so I'm not counting that as a regression, um, especially because I've seen that with older versions. But overall, every little thing is smoother. The lane changing is better, not quite there. Still hesitating on a left lane change. The speed profile, and again, I just used hurry, but you could, and then I went down to standard there just to see if it was going to slow down, and it didn't. That seems better. So overall, everything's better. We'll go out tomorrow. Maybe I'll have it on my Model 3 tomorrow as well, and we'll do the Wilmuth loop and see how that looks. Thank you for watching.